Hi, this is Debbie Nicholson. I'm the Director of Community Outreach for BeatCancer. And we're here today to introduce you to one of our absolutely wonderful coaches. And we appreciate you watching. And if you would leave some comments, get involved in the conversation, like this video and our YouTube channel, that really helps us out also. So today I want to introduce you to Bonnie Schnautz. Welcome, Bonnie.
Thank you.
She has a really great website, Be Renewed Wellness Solutions, and she's going to tell us about her services and all about her story and how she got to help so many. I saw a lot of testimonials, so there's a lot of people that have really benefited from her services. So welcome, Bonnie. It's so nice to connect and have you with us.
Thank you, Deborah. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. So just from looking at your website, I saw that you had your health journey. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are today?
I would love that. So my journey started actually in my 30s, and I'm in my late 50s. So gives you some kind of time frame how long I've been on this journey. So it started with kind of what we call the most common, where we say things are common, but they're not normal, right? Which a lot of people may think they are: allergies, asthma, I had irritable bowel, severe hormone issues, to the point where I would have to schedule my travel, which I was traveling for my career at that point. And I would have to schedule my travel around my cycle just because of the issues. It would flare up my IBS, etc. Anxiety, depression, sinus infections, flu, weight issues, adrenal fatigue. I could probably go on, but that kind of gives you a background of all the health issues I was dealing with. And what I'd like to say I was smart enough to say, oh, I got this figured out. This is what I'm going to do. But it was really kind of a fluke that I started changing to an all organic diet. And when I did, all my health issues started going away. My allergies went away. My asthma went away. And, everything started to heal, and that wasn't instantaneous, obviously, because we don't get her overnight. So it was a series of months, sometimes years, depending on what the health issue was. And now for adrenal fatigue, that was a little bit different. That came later, and I'd be happy to share that part of my story with you. But the little things, what I call the little things, like the allergies, the asthma, the flu, I literally, have not had any of those to speak of where I had to be on a medication. I had to be on an inhaler, having to take antibiotics, completely free of any medication or over-the-counters for 15 years. And that's when I understood the power of our food. And that started me on my mission. I thought, oh my gosh, if this is doing it for me, what is it going to do for other people? And that was my heart to go out and share this, and which is what I have been doing for the past 15 to 18 years.
It is amazing. I also had asthma about 15 years ago, and I went on an anti-inflammatory diet, and it went away and never came back. And I was pretty bad. So yes, it is amazing, the power of food and the power of how bad our food has gotten and what it can create.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And especially with cancer, I think that's kind of really a wake-up call that something needs to drastically change. And you said treat your body like a temple, not a garage, I saw on your website. And that's so true. People plan a vacation and they spend so much time,
right.
But they don't plan their health and really put stock into valuing that. And if not, it's going to come around at some point, because all the things you were talking about are so common for so many.
Yeah. And I think
cancer now.
Yeah. And it really boils down to self-love and self-worth. Like you said, we're spending more time and financial resources on a vacation, but unfortunately, sometimes when we ask people to change to an all-organic diet, they'll say, oh, it's expensive. But look at how much money that our family alone has saved. That's where I say, quantitatively, I can prove that not having to go to the doctor at all, my husband or I, our children, very, very few and far and in between. It's really making that investment. You either pay now or you pay later. Our food can be our most healing source of, a healing modality, or it can be our worst form of poison, depending on what types of foods that we are consuming. And we know the plant-based foods are definitely, like as you said, it's the anti-inflammatory component that we're looking for. And the other thing with plants is that you have fiber and antioxidants. Those are not found in animal products. Now, I don't emphasize that you have to become a vegan or a vegetarian at all, but you do have to consume more plants than animals. I do know that without a doubt, because
Absolutely.
the fiber and the antioxidants are really what's going to heal.
Absolutely. Yeah. That plate needs to be full of vegetables.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I saw you really, instead of chasing symptoms, you really stand back and try and, instead of chasing symptoms or treating a disease or an issue, you look really, stand back and try and help with whole foods to bring the symptoms down, which I think is key.
Right. And what I like to think of is I like to provide simple solutions to simple solutions to complex situations in the body. Because usually at that point, especially with cancer, the goal is, of course, to prevent cancer, and that's especially with children. But, when you're already there, that's where, to come in and incorporate and give you simple one, making one simple change, making that one, incorporating just that one small, simple solution that when you're completely overwhelmed at that point, that you can start feeling like there's hope. And that's really what, I would say we're marketing hope here, because there is hope, and that's what we want to convey. And, as a naturopathic doctor, and you said it, I'm not treating, I'm not diagnosing, and I'm not, trying to cure anything. This is not diagnosing. It's really prognostic. And when we can look inside the body through testing, through nutritional testing, you already have from your medical doctor, kind of what is at hand. That's your, kind of where we need to, that's your roadmap. So now we know where you're at. We know how we can work backwards and find out what the root cause of really where that started. And that's usually 3 areas of stress, which is emotional stress, physical stress, or nutritional/chemical stress. So nutritional stress is either what you are or aren't eating, right? We're eating too much of the foods we shouldn't and not enough of the foods we should. And then physical stress could be an injury, a fall. Emotional stress, well, it could be some, you could be a caregiver. You could have a past, like most of us do, right, that we're still living in. So the emotional components are so critical. And some of our testing, a big part of it is testing neurotransmitters, because we want to know what's going on in the brain, chemically. So we have to, we need your, part in, working through meditation, working through, any emotional issues through counseling or whatever that looks like. But we also want to know what's going on throughout the body with the neurotransmitters to help support that component as well, which I think a lot of people may not make that correlation.
Right. And it is a really important root cause that if it's missed, true healing just doesn't really take place. Yeah,
Exactly.
good for you. That's awesome. So, did you start going to school and wanting to get into naturopathy, and then were you kind of seeing people with cancer, so you decided you wanted to take another step in that direction, taking the course, or how did that kind of evolve for you?
Yeah. So my undergrad was in business marketing. I spent 28 years in the conventional, corporate world. And interestingly enough, probably the last 3 to 4 years is where I started kind of coming around to, oh my gosh, I was understanding food. I was doing my research. I was getting some certifications here and there. But it was truly when, I saw my transformation, and that's when I went back to school as a naturopath and as a digestive health specialist. And then, yes, as clients were coming to me, and, I really didn't feel equipped, to truly work with people at that level, at that caliber of their disease. So I needed that training, and I had met Dr. Susan through another, associated vendor association. And I was so impressed with her and her story and her credentials and her teaching. I knew I wanted that immediately as far as my resources and my tools to help others. And just going through that program was absolutely a godsend. And she is such a gift to so many. And I know, because of her, so many have healed because she shared that knowledge with people just like you and I that could take that, to the masses and go out and share it. And again, we say there's never a guarantee. But you know what? We always say that, the things that we teach, it's never going to harm. It's only going to help support what you're already doing, whether you're going full blown alternative, holistic, or you're working, and we are supporting you alongside your medical doctor because we want to be there at whatever level that looks like.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And, it's about just creating an environment in the body that's not hospitable to cancer. And that involves a lot of different things, but I think that she really got it. And then, and was also kind of research based. And then I'm so happy that we can have everyone take this course that's interested, and then we're all coming from kind of a like-minded place and supporting each other and spreading such a great message and just helping others heal holistically from cancer. I think it's really, really an amazing thing. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Like I said, it has been transformational. And I think that the pivotal moment for me that I was missing in my, you want to call it conventional alternative consulting was the emotional component. And that's what Susan really brought to light that I was completely missing. And then years later, I ended up in adrenal fatigue personally. And then I really got it. And, sometimes that's the blessing behind having, all these, health issues that you can relate to your clients and you've healed yourself, hopefully, which I have. And, that you can be, the best support for people that are going through that, because with adrenal fatigue, especially, what I do, I look at it in phases. It's either phase 1, kind of mild, moderate to severe, severe being more of a phase 3 end stages where that can develop right into cancer. And a lot of people, that is the case. So I wanted to make absolutely sure, number one, that, wasn't my course because God gave me a gift and I was put here to help heal people, not to end up being sick. So that was, part of my journey and, just the blessing of understanding, because I was doing all the right things. I was eating the organic foods for 10 years. I was, I had eliminated all the chemicals out of my home, all the things we teach. But what I wasn't protecting was my energy and my mind. And, because I had a child that was going through some traumatic, life-altering issues, I was taking that on. And I wasn't taking care of myself emotionally, and I ended up getting sick. So, it helped me understand how people can arrive at that place in their life that even if they feel like they're doing so many things right, that emotional component can override, anything, whether it's, people say it's genetic or, lifestyle, but that emotional component can override all those aspects.
Yeah, stress alone is a really huge component, but it's not so easy. It's not like telling somebody how to make a green smoothie.
Right.
It's
Right.
bigger than that. So I love when people get that and they have that as part of their healing prescription in their mind, the way they look at healing. It's just necessary. So, and especially with the diagnosis, because then people get very emotional and fear-based, and then you can start with the cortisol and the adrenals and things. Even when I talk to people, even when they, have been cleared of cancer, they're still very fearful and worried. So that worry starts to take over. So it's great when we can give people things to do for that. So yeah, that's really great. I guess that's why you have so many people on your site that have given you glowing reviews.
I have been blessed to have people that are coachable, and that's the key. You have to be open. If you're not ready, you're not ready. And that's part of the emotional healing. And, for me, and what I truly recommend for most people is to find someone that you resonate with as far as meditation. I'm a huge component, a huge part of my lifestyle is meditation. And finding there's so much research, and Dr. Joe Dispenza, I'm not sure if you follow him, he's got phenomenal research on healing through meditation, as well as that, being just another resource. And there's so many out there, of course, prayer, meditation, all the other, modalities that can help heal us. But I think that, again, is just number one that has really, really been just such a positive way to balance and to manage the stress of everyday life, because it doesn't end. Whether you have cancer or any other disease or no disease, it's just called life, right? And it's stressful, and we have to be able to manage it every single day, and really taking control. It's like our body has taken over for our mind, right? We go into automatic pilot, and we're doing the same thing. We start to think the same negative thoughts every day, and we're not aware of it. And those things can develop into disease over time. So we have to really focus on what we have in front of us, and through gratitude, that's all part of the meditation, is being grateful for where we're at and what we have, and using that gratitude and creating that self-love, which and self-worth that a lot of us can be lacking.
Right. And I think that's key. Culturally, we're moving very fast, and then stopping to start a gratitude journal and meditate and do these things it's really it's not familiar to people. I think that's it's a tough change, but from a lot of people that I've spoke to with cancer, they get into a very structured thing where they wake up and they do their gratitude, and then they do this, and then they do that, and it kind of just they stick to that, and I think that seems to be the key from what I've heard from a lot of people. It's not easy. I mean, I'm trying now, and it's really it's nice, it's enjoyable once you get there, but we're always used to go, and things are hanging over our head. And I think as women too, especially, we're so used to taking care of everybody, and we're not okay unless everyone else is okay. But then we're not okay. So
exactly. Yeah. And I think we see this a lot with adrenal fatigue. You've got different personality types, like you said, caretakers. We have to take care of everything, and that's women. We're in control of the kids and the husband and the parents, the aging parents. And and the other thing we see is very type A personality. I have very type A personality, guilty, right? Just very achieving, very goal oriented, which is not a bad thing, if you can level it out, if you put things in perspective. And for me, that was, part of the driving force. I was opening up a wellness center at the time that my son got sick. So, and he was having financial issues, and of course, all that spills over as a parent, and it's hard to disconnect. And sometimes you do have to disconnect with love to certain situations, but we see these personality types, and they're more susceptible because we're trying to, take care of the world, and we can't, because we have to put our oxygen mask on first before we can save anybody else.
That's great advice. Wonderful. So tell us where we can find you.
Sure. Yeah. You'll find me a lot on social media, a little bit on Instagram under Be Renewed. It's the letter B, the word renewed. I always say there's no E in Be Renewed. And also Be Renewed on Facebook is my Facebook page. So very active there. I've been trying to go live actually today in about a half hour. I'll be going live. I think at 3:30 Eastern, I'll be going live. They're talking about my journey through adrenal fatigue. So I'm always out there trying to educate, trying to share, and, just to provide the information that people need. And of course, my website is berenewed.com, and you can learn about my services. I'm pretty much a virtual consultant. So using the platform just like we use today is how I can consult with people all over the US. And I used to have a wellness center, and I ended up, we moved. So I closed the wellness center and realized, honestly, I could reach a whole lot more people through the beauty of technology and the wonders of that can, where we can really help so many more people. So that's, pretty much where I am today. And it's like you said, it's a virtual, fast-paced world, and we have to be right out there with the technology to meet our clients' needs wherever.
Yeah, and it's great because you're right. You can reach a lot of people that way, and it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much. I really appreciate getting to know you, connecting, and letting everybody get to connect and meet with you. And you can go to our website at www.BeatCancer.Org and look up Find a Coach. And Bonnie will be there, and we will have all her contact information and everything. So I saw a recipe for, I think, a walnut vinaigrette on your, and I keep thinking about it. So I want to go back and get that. Thank you so much. I know.
Well, thank you, and thank the entire staff of Beat Cancer. And it's just such an incredible organization. I just can't recommend it enough. And the resources, the free resources that you provide, and just will be forever grateful, as many are, to Dr. Susan Silberstein and all her work and her research, and for the tools that we have today so that we can help so many people, and really, start focusing on, not just beating cancer, but preventing cancer for future generations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure, Deborah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.